I'm Beck Mylonis, and I'm from Australia.
And what was your moment of awakening to other realities?
Oh gosh. Yeah, where do I begin to answer that question? I think I always had an awareness that there was something more that I was searching for from a really young age. This search for God, this search for something higher. And early in my 20s, there was this impending sense of doom within me of like, I need to find this purpose or this higher thing, and I can't live in this reality that everyone is living in. And if I keep doing this and living this existence, I will end my life, right? And so then that got me on a spiritual kind of quest to figure out what is out there, what else is there, like what boundaries can we push, what is real, what is not real. And I didn't want to believe that the way that things were the only way that things could be. And I don't like being told what to do. I don't like following rules. I don't like following structures. So for me, it was like, how can I break this mold? And then that got me onto a spiritual kind of quest or searching for something, someone. And for me, it's always been God or a higher being, which eventually led me into all the rabbit holes, down the rabbit holes of, I guess you would call it the underground things that are happening in the underground, the underworld.
Where did you meet the ETs? How?
Yeah. So in that journey, I guess you go deep in to then come back up. And it was a rude awakening that I think many of us go through of like what is actually happening on our planet and where we come from. And for me, it was this understanding of we're not the only ones here. And like, we came from somewhere, we're seeded from someone. And there was this one moment when I had a spontaneous remembrance of a past life as an Anunnaki being. And it was like this visceral experience. And it's almost like I read the word Anunnaki and I couldn't breathe. Like there was this visceral awakening in my body and I didn't want to accept it because I think there's some stereotypes around Anunnaki. And I think that particular lifetime for me I was not a positive polarity, let's say. I was not a nice Anunnaki being. I have had other lifetimes where I was. And it was this realization of like, oh my God, we are these creator beings in this human reality. And it blew my mind open because then it opened the doorways to all these different galactic races and understanding that we're not the only ones here and that we are this experiment of hybrid, all these different beings. So I have memories of being both a Anunnaki that's on the side of like wanting to enslave humanity, seeing humans as like, we created you to work for us basically and mine gold or whatever that is. And they were the memories that were very challenging for me because the Anunnaki have all of the traits of humans that are both positive and negative, right? Like we are made in their image. And so we carry a lot of their traits. So they're spiteful, they're aggressive, they fight, they bicker, right? So the story of the Anunnaki is that there were two brothers, they split off, they did their different things, had different intentions for humanity. And I remember being on both sides, like the side that loved humanity. And so the memory there was that I was I guess you would call it a high priestess, like of Isis. And I was breeding humanoid babies in my womb. And I loved these babies and I wanted to teach them everything that I knew. And so we would bring these humans into this world and we would teach them our ways. We would teach them how to navigate with the star systems, how to utilize pyramids, how to use sacred technologies. And they were like our children. Like it was this deep love and reverence. Like blood of my blood, flesh of my flesh, but that is not all of the Anunnakis. Obviously, there were the other side who didn't really like humans, didn't see us as equals, didn't see us as their own. So that's my kind of framework around that. And it was really hard for me because it was like, I'm not human, what? Like, and it like woke up something in my DNA, like this visceral experience in my body of like this flash of light through my body being like, I'm a creator being, like I have the capacity to create and like move things with my mind and like what the hell? So that's when it really started opening. And then from there I started working with different beings approaching me. I worked with the Syrians for a while. They're really good with working with pyramids. So they were helping me to install pyramids, like non-physical pyramid structures around different portals and energy grids of the earth, like energetic power points where the energy could be, I wouldn't say harvested, but like amplified. So they were helping me to set up structures and I really like their energy. I find them very shamanic, as I talk about them, like I feel it in my body, it's like very grounding, very grounded energy. I like to work with the Arcturians, like they have some beautiful timeline technology that I was working with them with. But for me, like I see these beings as our brothers and sisters And I personally like to go higher, which is going straight to the source. And so I think they're here to teach us how to access that higher consciousness. And that's what they're here helping us with, because they're like us.
So what's your relationship with the Anunnaki now?
Well, I wrote about it in my book. So I definitely think it was important for me to understand where humanity came from and like where I came from and what this link is between the stars and our Earth. And, you know, even the ancient races, and I have a very strong connection to the Mayans and other ancient races, how what they had and the knowledge they had and all this immaculate knowledge, where it came from. So for me, that's like, it's like remembering our roots, remembering our ancestry, and remembering that we're not really from this planet and we are like them, like we are from elsewhere. And so that's my relationship now. And to be honest, I don't think about it too much. Like I don't think about it other than when I'm like, okay, I'm consciously creating my reality. I'm a literal goddess in this body, just incarnated in a slightly smaller form. But I was like birthing humanoids out of my body so I can create anything that I want. So that's my relationship now with them.
So when you were birthing humanoids, were you like Inanna and...
It's that, well, as you're saying it, my body's having a reaction. So I think that's the truth. But I don't want to get attached to like, I was this goddess or that like identity level being, but it was like there were a collective of these high priestesses, these women, humanoids, I guess you would call them, who were birthing these beings who had royal blood. Like it was like a royal lineage.
Right. So let's say you were
yeah.
or one of them.
Yeah.
Then now you're still in the role of the high priestess.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how do you connect that to the ET?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, I love this question. I love it. Yes, we're getting somewhere exciting for me. So the priestess lineage is coming from this knowledge that was seeded here from the stars. And this priestess lineage continued through Egypt, through whatever, I don't know when it kind of stopped, around Egypt's time, when humans started getting, I would suppose like they were taking on more of these negative traits. And this knowledge and this wisdom was not being used for the greater good of all. And it started to get a bit distorted, and things like the earth grids were getting with, and the pyramids were getting used to siphon and drain energy. And some of the Anunnaki and these masters believed that they were gods. They didn't believe that they were, they believed that they were God. They didn't believe that they were gods, but they believed that they were the be-all, end-all God, and they started fucking with people's free will. And so for me, that's when things kind of got a bit distorted. And so those who were pure and they were holding this lineage of information, they wanted to keep it sacred and safe, because this is powerful stuff, right? And you don't want these tools that they had that could resurrect people from the dead, that could move matter with like their minds, and all these things that they had the capacities to do. They were alchemists. They don't want that to get into the hands of the wrong people. Eventually it did, but they didn't want that, so they buried it. And there was this like almost dying off or going underground of these masters and this lineage. And it went deep underground, and it went underground with with the divine feminine. As a divine feminine, the goddess went underground, and this masculine patriarchy kind of took over, and we went into this darkness, and we won't get into that. But it's almost like it had to go underground to be protected. And so what I and other priestesses, many of us, it's not just me, is to bring that remembering back of working with pyramids, of working with sacred technologies, not only outside of us, like the pyramids, the sacred sites, the portals, the sun disks, the gateways, but within us, because we access these points by going within first and awakening our own system, as above, so below, as outside, so within, right? So all of these portals and gateways that we're working with outside, we can only work with them once we've attuned ourselves internally and harmonized our own internal frequencies. And so that's my role here as a priestess, is to help people, to take them into these mystery school trainings, because in Egypt, in Lemuria, and Atlantis, we would have physical temples where we would bring initiates and we would teach them. And I remember that, like, I remember this so deeply, and I remember the process, and it was like years and years and decades of training and mastery to even get to a level to be able to use these tools, or work with pyramids, or work with free energy, or work with different portals and stargates and beings and whatever, opening up gateways for beings to come. And now it's like, because there's this memory within all of us, it can be accessed really fast once you've awakened within like the faculties to be able to do that. And it's a very rapid awakening. So for me, it was like, I just remembered. I remember how to work with portals. I remember all this stuff. And we don't have the physical temples the way that we used to, where these mystery schools take place. But what I do is I take people into like an energetic or an etheric temple, a mystery temple, and I just help them to remember. And it's like they have their experience, and it's awakening parts of their soul codex, because I believe all of us starseeds, we have different codes or different technologies or different things from different places, because we're all from different places and different star races, and each star race has a different technology or a specialty or an energy that they're here to bring through. And so I help them to access that through this temple space, as well as teaching them things and attuning them to different things like sun disk technologies or just different portals of energy, so the different sacred sites or ley lines or chakra points on the earth that have different frequencies. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, no, it does. It's good. So how do you work with portals, and how is that maybe connected to ET technologies?
Absolutely, I'm so glad you asked. So working with portals, there's a word of warning around this, and I learned this the hard way, because before I was really conscious of what I was doing this work without knowing I was doing it. And so I was working with portals and energetic sites and opening things up. And a lot of things that weren't supposed to come out of these portals or through these portals was coming in and out and through these portals. And it's also because for me, I had a lot of really dark lifetimes that I didn't harmonize at that point. So I was like basically allowing other parts of myself, which was still doing some jaded shit, to work through those portals and bring energies back. So I had to go and like close down a whole bunch of portals and clear out a whole bunch of portals that I'd left open that were basically like is not good. So word of warning, don't go fucking with portals if you don't know what you're doing. A lot of things can happen. I've heard of, so a friend of mine, for instance, her auntie went to a certain sacred site in Peru, and this is an interdimensional gate. It's not necessarily a portal, it's an interdimensional gate. And this gate, I was asked to go recently to open it both ways. So it was a one-way gate. And the reason why it was a one-way gate was because it was shut down from one side to stop things coming back in that were not meant to come back in. So the masters shut it down when everything kind of became a bit distorted. But this woman went there and she put her third eye up to the portal, and basically she died a couple weeks later. Her soul, she's like, I feel like I'm going. And then she died spontaneously. And it's like, literally, like some of these portals are a one-way gateway, and once you go on, that's it. So they allow us to travel interdimensionally. They allow us to transport ourselves to different places. For me, when I reopened this portal, I saw that there were all these beautiful seraphim and like dragon babies, and even like baby, like souls wanting to come through to be born on the other side of this door, but it was closed. So my job was to go cleanse that, like portal, cleanse the energy so there's no distortion, and then open it so these souls that wanted to come through, and like also starships and whatever could come through. So these portals are for us to travel basically from different dimensions. So they're dimensional gates is what I would call them. And they're mainly non-physical, but I do see that in our near future, like in what I've been told and why I'm going around the earth doing this fucking grid work mission, which is exhausting me, is to prepare all these sites for like little ships coming through in like a more physical form, because they change from physical to non-physical.
So are you working with the ETs to do that? Or?
Yeah, some of them I do. I definitely, like I said, the Syrians, they are really, like they've been helping me set up pyramid structures. I work a lot with dragons. So dragons is at the moment, like a really strong calling for me, because as much as they're like higher dimensional, they're also lower dimensional. They're also in this earth, like they're multi-dimensional. So dragons are probably the main energy that I'm working with at the moment to work with these portals and gates, and they're masters of dimensions as well.
So what do the ETs want being here?
Yeah, I mean, depends on what race we're talking about. From my experience and understanding of working with them, like I said, I believe they're our brothers and sisters, and they're here to help us remember who we are and where we came from. And I think they're here to gift us with technologies so we can evolve and ascend, because we're all in this soup together, and we're all like, they're basically just us on higher dimensions is what I feel. And we're all in this journey to get back to the one, right? And so what's good for them is good for us. And it's the whole universe, our whole universe is wanting to go through this dimensional scale to return to oneness. So they're helping us because they're us from the future, if you want to think of it that way, but it's like, time is non-linear, so you can't really think of it that way, but it's like by helping us, they're helping themselves, but they also are aware that we are them, so they're past this concept of separation. So by helping us, we're all going to be able to merge back to oneness.
But how? What's happening now?
We're at a point of consciousness where we can not only accept, because we've tipped this scale, right? I think everyone knows that there's this dimensional, vibratory scale on this earth, and with the frequencies risen enough that there are enough people working on themselves, enough people conscious, enough people aware that aren't going to be terrified that aliens are here, right? Or at least aware that there's something bigger going on. I believe the aliens now are starting to reveal themselves because we've reached a point where humanity is ready to enter this more multi-dimensional existence, and we're ready to move into the fifth dimension, into unity consciousness, whatever it is. We're actually at a really pivotal point, and I think most people don't realize, like, it could go either way. Like, we could either like ascend into this golden age and move into the, back to our glory days of Atlantis and Lemuria and all that, or we could really fuck it up. Right? And it's our choice as a humanity. And so I believe they're like here, invested in this experiment, invested in us, being like, we don't want you to fuck it up. We want to help you to make that hurdle and make that jump. It's like Atlantis, Lemuria, Egypt, whatever. And so close to this golden age, and then our greed, our corruption, our own human bullshit, the negative traits of the Anunnaki, they start coming through our ego. And we then just have to regress back and go through the things. So I think at this point, what I feel anyway is that they are here because it's like the support is there for us to really make this jump this time and get there. I mean, there's nowhere to get because it's infinite and never ending, but they're really invested in supporting us with that.
So what can we do? What will make it, what do they want to tell us and make us, and that help us in the transition?
Yeah, I mean, again, it depends on the race you're talking to because they all have different...
They're all here to help us.
Absolutely, yeah.
What can we do? What do we need to do?
To make the transition?
Yeah.
Okay, well, in my opinion, like not in the ET's opinion, but if I talk about, so most ETs, all ETs have progressed past like separation consciousness, right? Like we can just accept that they're on a higher level of understanding where they're pretty much operating on unconditional love and non-judgment. So I think they are modeling for us our potentiality as a race, as a species, and showing us what is possible through how they are embodying and expressing. For instance, like, I think it's the Arcturians they don't have like a class system or a structure, like they just share everything. It's like a kind of not communist, but it's like the way their planet or their system is set up, like things like that. They're giving us infrastructures, they're giving us actual technologies, like healing technologies, anti-aging technologies, DNA technologies, things to help us awaken our faculties. So they're helping us in a really practical, physical way like that, like gifting us with technologies, as well as modeling for us what's possible when we transcend past our own limitations.
But what can we do practically now?
Right.
Humans watching?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. That was the question, and then I got sidetracked.
It's okay.
It's working on ourselves, right? And it's not spiritually bypassing. And so for me, I actually think that the most important thing is self-awareness, and it's being willing to look at the things inside that are keeping you locked in this lower reality, because anything that's happening on an individual scale is going to happen on a collective scale. So instead of going out and trying to change the world and be a revolutionary and that's some people's mission, but for most of us, it like starts from our own inner work. It starts from us being a little bit different, because when we're a little bit different, we're a little bit more self-aware, we're resonating in love, we're making choices that don't harm the environment, that are beneficial to the all. When we're all showing up in our soul purpose, in our mission, that gives others permission, and it's like you radiate this light and people are gravitated towards you and they're like, wow, what are you doing? Like, I don't something different about you. And they ask you questions, and then they start on their journey, and then it ripples out. So personally, I believe that working on ourselves and having the willingness and the awareness to like really look deep within, and not surface level spiritual bullshit like whitewashing, gaslighting, love and light. It's like actually do the work to like, where am I still blind to things within me that are keeping me in separation?
Right. But isn't there also a big shift coming vibrationally?
Yes.
How do we prepare? I mean, yes, work on yourself, but so what else can we?
Yeah.
People are always working on stuff. But something more, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're always, like I said, we're always creating. And so like focusing on like, okay, what would you want this new earth? It's the thing that, okay, I'm going to get fired up for a fucking second. Like this is where my dark goddess is like, I'm not letting this go on. And we all talk about this new earth, this great shift, what the fuck is anyone actually doing to create that? What the fuck is anyone actually doing? Like take the action. And this is what pisses me off, because so many people in this space, I don't know why I'm just getting so angry, but it's like I've had enough of seeing people be like, the ships are going to come and save us, or like, well, everything's going to be amazing on this new earth where we're just going to be transported. And it's like, don't you realize we are planets of this we're guardians of this planet. Like we are literally sacred guardians. We need to take care of her. She is making this journey too. So we need to be taking action, making structures, putting down systems. And this is the divine masculine energy, which we've been lacking in our humanity. And it's coming, and I'm feeling it coming. Like the divine feminine started to rise, and now the masculine's rising. But I believe our community is really lacking people initiative, like taking initiative, making steps.
Like what?
Setting up infrastructures, okay? Like communities. So like setting up communities that are off grid, or like setting up schools that don't teach the children, brainwash them with this bullshit that limits them, right? Creating, I guess, like blockchain or crypto is like an example of this, but creating currencies that don't rely on the financial system, right? Creating our own medical systems. It's like people taking action towards creating systems and structures to build this new earth. And there is some of it happening, and I don't want to like say it's not happening because I'm seeing it. But I think there's a lot of people who are sitting on their ass being like, oh, well, this big shift, everything like the UFOs aren't here to save us. I need to make that really fucking clear. They believe in sovereignty, they believe in free will, and they are not going to baby us through this. The reason why they're coming, and this is the dragons are talking through me, by the way, I don't know if you can feel that or not, but this is the dragons are all about sovereignty. And they are not going to do your work for you. They will support you when you're ready to. But it's like, we need to be doing that work, and then they'll support us, because they're not, like, the problem is, when we are tampering with and messing with people's free will, then we are actually robbing them of their experience. And many of the ETs know this. And people are like, why don't they step in and stop this stuff happening? It's like, because they know that we need that experience to grow as a race, as a humanity. Like, we need to do that. So it's like, we all need to be taking action in our own lives, right? Like, so what are you, not you personally, but like, what are you, listener, doing right now to create the new earth from within in your own life? Like, how are you setting that up? Like, what are you making sure on a daily basis that you are putting in your body, or that you're like,
well, what are you doing to make
what am I doing? Every single day I'm talking to God, and I'm asking God, what will you have me do today to help me fulfill my mission? Like, literally every single day I wake up and I pray and I meditate and I journal. And I'm not saying this to be like, I'm holy, but it's like, this is my whole life. I'm a priestess, I'm a woman of God. And so I'm always, always, always asking, what will serve? What will serve? What will serve?
What answers?
I get like sensations, I get feelings, I get impressions of like things that creatively will light me up. Because most of these things, and this is the thing, like the new earth is based, for me anyway, on all of us bringing what brings joy and light and creativity and like excitement and expansion. And for me, I believe it's all of us sharing our gifts and our magic in the world. And we all get to share our gifts and magic. And that's what it is. It's this web of like all of us sharing our gifts and our magic, and then just sharing what we can, right? And I feel it's more community-based. It's more of it's like more exchange-based. So like, you have this gift, I have this gift. Why don't, I'm really good at channeling and you're really good at making music. So why don't you make me some music and I channel for you, and then that's our exchange. Or like, you have apples, I have oranges. We both have our own little gardens and you need the apples, like, so bartering, right? Like, I feel like that's where we might be heading back towards, energy-based exchange. So we're all contributing something. So for me, like, my work and everyone's work is like, how can I be the most aligned with what wants to come and create through me today from a higher place, not from ego. Yeah, so as long as we're creating from that higher place, it's naturally benefiting the all. It's naturally benefiting this new earth that we're building. And I think the more of us that are doing that and living our fucking freedom and living our authenticity and living like our gifts and our soul magic, it inspires other people to do that. Yeah, but it's also like doing the like the structures.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
But if you could just drop into that divine goddess priestess essence and kind of just look in and give us like a few words from, not the mind, but just from the pure spirit of your goddess.
It's funny because like, she's not like, the feminine is not angry. She's not angry, but she just needs people to understand that it's like the time is now, we need to start taking action towards moving towards this new earth. Like, it's not going to create itself, and that involves all of us standing up and doing something. And I just feel like divine feminine as an energy has been doing the work for a really long time to raise this frequency on this planet and to heal the planet. And like, she's exhausted is what I feel like. The divine feminine is very exhausted trying to do this on her own. And so it's like everyone, no matter what sex or gender you associate with, needs to tap into that place of action and discipline and like that warrior within that is like capable of building and creating the new. And it's also like the second message that is coming through is around forgiveness. And I work a lot with like divine Christ energy, like Sophia Christ energy, which is like the feminine Christ. And it's more light feminine goddess energy, mother energy. And it's like this, we can't keep harping on the past of like what's been done, the dark agendas, like you did this and we're so angry, and going into these conspiracy theories and dark and rabbit holes, right? And just like so in our wounding and so in our traumas. It's like at some point, you've just got to accept that there's nothing more to forgive, right? It's like, it's done. We've all been there. We've all done bad things, like in different incarnations. And at some point, forgiveness is the only way. It's like, I just forgive you, and there's nothing even to forgive because it's perfect. It's all perfect. It's all serving. And so it's like, there's a message coming through for people of like, we can't build the new future if we are still trying to make peace with the past because we haven't just forgiven and let go. And it's like everyone is getting a chance to ascend. Everyone. And there's someone that needs to hear this. Like the deepest, darkest, most shadowy beings are also getting a chance to ascend right now. We all are here to ascend together. And so we need to forgive and let go so they can ascend too. And we're here. If there are any beings who are not ascending, then we're not all ascending.
So what does the future look like when that happens?
Absolutely. I don't know. That's a really good question. It'd be heaven on earth, right? And I think some of us are already experiencing that from within, because heaven, as Yeshua foretold, the kingdom of heaven is actually within. It's not without. And I mean, I feel like I definitely touched that place, like 5D or like whatever. People think 5D is, oh, I've arrived at 5D and I'm here. It's like, no, it's a dimension that you can tap in and out of. Like sometimes I'm orgasmic and I feel incredible. I'm like, oh my God, my life is a miracle. And then other times I'm like, I'm in bed all day crying. So that's the human experience. But I think for me anyway, what it looks like is community. It looks like people respecting and loving and valuing each other for their unique place and role in this society. For me, it looks like no more borders, like between places, like it's just land. Like, why don't we all just be this borderless tribe, like the Hopi prophecy says? So that's what it looks like for me. Free energy, amazing galactic technologies, like really working with our brothers and sisters in other places, like traveling interdimensionally. I've definitely been shown bilocation will be a thing, which I'm really excited about because I'm lazy as f. So that'd be really nice to just bilocate myself to another country. So all of these things. But I think for me, it's a feeling. New Earth is a feeling, and it's joy and it's bliss, and it's like coming home to God. And that is what I'm here to anchor. And I hope other people are here to anchor that too in their experience, because it's perfection.